Hello and thanks for joining us on the first ever online Brighton SEO. It's a pleasure to be here and to be talking to you. And I promise I'm only going to mention the dreaded C word, that's COVID, twice. And that was one of the mentions. Now it's been a pretty challenging year for most of us, but I am still going to start with some bad news.
You're a wizard, Harry.
None of us are wizards. There are some absolutely incredible speakers here today, but none of them will be getting their Hogwarts letter in the post anytime soon. And that's because there's no such thing as an SEO wizard. Now, it's a term most of you will probably have heard at least once or twice in your career. I know it's something I've come across an awful lot. But I'm here today to tell you that there's no such thing as wizardry when it comes to SEO. And that's because there's no single correct way of doing it. SEO differs from industry to industry, site to site, keyword to keyword. And it's something I learned quite early on in my career when I worked for a group of brands, and the SEOs were mostly self-taught. But despite that, our methods were working well for us. A new group head of SEO joined though, with some impressive credentials, and told us that we'd been doing it all wrong. But this made me question, if our method was so wrong, why was it still working for us? Well, it's because there isn't a right way of doing SEO, and he was no less muggle than you or I. What I think we should actually think of ourselves as is not as wizards, but as agents. Agents are analytical. They take facts, they analyse them, and they come to logical conclusions, which is a big part of what we do as SEOs. So today I'm going to show you how becoming agents can increase the quality of your sessions. Because these days it's the quality, not quantity, that matters. For the first time, more searches end in Google without a click than with one. Mobile clicks dropped by 10% last year. By contrast, paid clicks have doubled in the last 3. So, if getting more sessions is becoming harder, we really need to start making the most out of the sessions we are getting. So that's making sure we're getting quality sessions. So, if that's what we're going to do, we need to take off those wizard hats and put on our agent sunglasses. Now, bear with me for this. There's been a murder. You don't know who did it, but you know where, you know when, and you know how. Now, just close your eyes for a second and put yourself in the shoes of your favourite agent, or if you're in the UK, detective. It could be Ethan Hunt, Luther, Sherlock, Holden Ford, Kate Fleming, even James Bond. Now keep your eyes closed and just think. If you were them and you were faced with a murder, what's the first thing you would look at? Well, chances are you're going to go to the crime scene. You're going to look for evidence, you're going to look for methods of entry, you're going to dust for fingerprints. Then you're going to look at the weapon. Was it of opportunity? Did the killer bring it with them? And then you consider the victim. The age, their social background, did they lead a high-risk lifestyle, or were they a victim of opportunity? And once you've got all this evidence, you're going to take it, you're going to analyse it, and you're going to come to a logical conclusion to make the right arrests. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth has all this got to do with SEO? There might be some PPC and email marketers listening today, but I'm pretty sure there are no actual FBI agents. But I said to bear with me because I'm going to show you how, using these basic principles of crime scene analysis, you can actually increase the quality of your sessions. I want to challenge your ways of thinking, get you to analyse your strategy and performance, and get some pretty good results out of it. It's what we did at Ryman to increase our visibility enough to make the coveted Systrix Top 100 list last year. So, here's how. Again, there's been a murder, which in this case is a search. You don't know who did it, but you know where, you know when, and you know how. So that roughly translates to, we know there's been a search, but we don't know what the search term was. Now for us, this murder involved our printer pages, which is everything from blogs and buying guides to products and categories. But we still didn't know who the murderer was, i.e. what the search term was. So we started at the crime scene like any good agent, which is the pages themselves in this case. And remember, this is a simple exercise, absolutely no wizardry, so we turned to Google Analytics. We went to the landing pages report and filtered by URL to give us our crime scene, or crime scenes in this case. And we found that traffic was going to multiple printer pages. Half of the traffic was actually going to just 7 pages out of a total of 700. So we wondered whether we were looking at duplication. Potentially multiple pages were competing for the same or similar phrase, especially because those 7 pages had drastically different bounce rates. So this made us wonder, is Google actually understanding which page best serves the search? We needed more information, so we analysed the weapon, which in this case is how the search happened. Again, it's not wizardry, it's just fact finding. So we went to the devices report in Google Analytics. And we found that conversion rate and session duration was different from mobile to desktop. There was a lower conversion rate in mobile, which is normally pretty strong for us, but there were fewer new users on desktop. So we started to question, are people fact finding on mobile and buying on desktop? Or is it even a transactional keyword? We needed more information. So we looked at the victim, i.e. the searcher. Again, we turned to Google Analytics and segmented the audience of these pages by location using the locations report. And we found that conversion rate differed by city. 20% of our overall revenue was coming from just one place. But each of these locations had very similar bounce rates, so people were reading and wanting the information regardless of where they were searching. So, it seemed like the outcome was affected by location. Now, it was time to start taking these facts and analysing them. We were looking at a printed related search term with multiple relevant pages on our site, potentially not transactional, but was affected by location. So we took all this evidence, we analysed it, and we came to a logical conclusion. And this was that the search term was printing near me, or at least a variant of it. So we did some keyword mapping, tailored the content on each of those pages to be more informational and location based. And it seemed like we arrested the right guy. We saw visibility improve and ranking stabilise almost immediately. I mean, you can see from this snippet where we implemented this, because look at the spike early in September. We also saw improvements in on-page metrics like bounce rate, conversion rate, and our stores reported an uplift of footfall for printing services. So we took this methodology and we replicated it over multiple crime scenes. We looked at big keywords for us like globes, pencil cases, and school supplies. We identified them with the same analysis and improved the quality of their traffic too. And you can see that from this graph. That's the overall site uplifts. And we even saw an uplift in traffic, which isn't actually what we set out to do. We didn't expect our ranking to improve, as we were at least already on the first page, but it did. And just like all good SEO agents, we cross-check the evidence with different data tools like SEMrush, Google Search Console, AccuRanker, and more. So the mission was totally possible using just basic crime scene analysis. We did what we set out to do and some. We increased the quality of our traffic and actually the quantity too. So like I said, none of us are wizards. There is no magic wand for Google. So go back, be agents yourself, take some pages, gather evidence from the crime scene, the weapon, get all this evidence, analyse it, and come to your own logical conclusions. And this will work post-COVID too. There's the last mention of the C word. So if you take nothing else out of today or this talk, then please just remember to be SEO agents yourself, not wizards, agents. And if all of this sounds easy, then I've done exactly what I came here to do. I don't believe SEO should be difficult or inaccessible. There are no wizards and muggles, just agents, gathering evidence, analysing it, and coming to logical conclusions to make the right arrests. Thanks for your time. I really hope you enjoy the rest of the day. There are some incredible speakers lined up for you.